What is up, everybody? Welcome to Toffee Blues USA, your source for all things Everton, American style. Joining you after a bit of a sabbatical is me. It's Gerry. I'm recorded from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and accompanying me is my man hanging out in Cincinnati. And if you're listening, you can't hear his FC Cincinnati shirt, but really you should, because it's pretty wonderful. I've got Jake Holton joining me again, everybody. Jake, how art thou?
It's good. Right now, I think we had a heat index of over 100 degrees today, and like something like 80% humidity or something. So it was really, really hot. You couldn't step outside for more than a couple minutes. But other than that, we're fine. Everything's great.
Holy crap! Good gosh, yeah. It's a little warm here, but I spent all day inside working on nerdy movie stuff. So yeah, I didn't experience the outdoors till I came out, and it was a storm, a thunderstorm, right there. I walked out and thunder struck, and I was like, this is like the universe saying, go back inside, Gerry. But I didn't.
If you were a Midwesterner, you would have just sat there on your porch and watched the whole thing roll by.
It would have been cool. I will say that's one of my favorite things is to be in like a screened-in porch and to just hang out during a storm. I do like that. That is a cool thing.
Midwesterners are just weird because, we're weird because like it could be like tornado watch, super hard thunderstorm, and we're just standing on the front porch like, yeah, this is gonna be a doozy.
I will say, if it's a tornado watch, I'm not on the porch. It's not my I'm not flirting with danger like that on a daily basis. For me, it's like, oh, there's thunder, and I like to be inside, falling asleep to it or reading a book, and that's cool. I'm not out there like Jake holding a large metal pole going, you got any more for me? It's
It would be like that guy from the hurricane a couple years ago who was outside with the flag and the long hair just banging his head.
Yes.
So we're good. Everything's fine.
Good. Yeah, we've survived. So we have to start off everything after what we've already started with. We have to talk about Orlando. Okay, Orlando was a thing that happened. It was like this gathering of American or stateside Evertonians coming together to hang out, slap hands, drink, and watch Everton play Millonarios and Pumas. Is that the other team?
Pumas.
So, were you able to go to one game or two?
I was there for the Millonarios game on Sunday. I was not able to attend the Pumas game on Wednesday.
So, as everybody knows, I was supposed to go to Millonarios as well. We'll get my story for that nonsense later. Let's hear from somebody who was there, though. Was it the blue heaven that you thought it would be?
It was everything. It was I kept telling everyone, I'm like, this has probably been the greatest weekend of my life, and that seems a bit dramatic and a little bit of like revisionist history. But I actually do think that it was probably the greatest weekend of my life. Everton has become such a big part of my life, and everyone knows that. I've told my story to a bunch of different people, and everyone always asks me, but like, this was a big deal for me. Like when I found out in, June or late May, I was like stunned into silence. I was just scrolling through Twitter and Everton tweeted it out. And I'm just like, this is unbelievable. So yeah, it was really cool to see Everton play in the flesh. And I'm like, this is cool. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, I want more. Now I got to find a way to save up money to go to Goodison Park. Like Goodison Park is going to be like, that's going to be like the Mecca. It's going to be my church. Like it's going to be the birthplace of my fandom, so I got to get there. Now I'm like chomping at the bit. And I got people on the other side of the pond who are like, all right, well, we're waiting for you. We'll have a pint
Yep.
when you get here. So,
Damn right. That's
but yeah,
so was it
it was awesome. I was as I was walking into the stadium for the Millenarios game, I'm like, man, I wish some other people were here. Like, I wish people from Liverpool could have been here. And I wish my buddy, I literally told to somebody, I was like, I wish Gerry could have been here because, like, this is a big deal to him too. So, like, I was super pumped up, but at the same time, I'm like, man, it could have been so much better. And, because of extenuating circumstances with all kinds of things, and
yeah.
people from Liverpool couldn't even come. And I know
Yeah.
so many of them wanted to. So,
Yeah, it's such a strange year. It's such a strange. We're living in strange times right now, so not everybody can get there. I've got my own set of circumstances we'll get into later, but I'm still thinking that there was a healthy chunk of Toffees there, and I'm also I just got to feel like it was like a who's who of Everton Twitter.
it was.
Where everywhere you look, you're
It
like,
was.
hey, I know you.
Yeah, no, it was.
Hey.
Yeah. Like, you've never met these people before, but you give them a big old hug
Damn right
and
you do. Yes, you do.
start drinking with them and talking with them like you've known them for years because you do. You just don't know
Yes.
them in person, but it was really cool. Like
Yeah.
Jordan from the Miami Toffees. He's
Yes.
a well-known guy on Twitter, and we just looked at each other. We're like, hey, yeah, and we just started drinking and hanging out. Like, it was cool. It was so cool.
Yeah, I'd had to hang out with Jordan and have him take me to some super cool like bars where he's like jumps up there and starts playing his own music and
Yeah, the DJ. Yeah.
yeah, that oh man, that's very cool. Yeah, it's like you sit there and I know Aaron Free, who we've got questions from. I know he
Man.
was the
Oh
Bowsy
man.
Toffee tits in the flesh. Um, and you already know some of the people that I would have been looking forward to knowing too. Like, I mean, like Jeff. I mean, I've never met Jeff in person. You probably sit there and hang out with him, and you guys have slumber parties and stuff all the time. And
Jeff and I
well,
run into each other accidentally a lot, which is really
yeah, you
funny.
do.
Which is really funny.
You're like, hey Jeff, I just came in the hallway to use the bathroom. Is that cool? I can I borrow a cup of sugar, Jeff? No, man. But I mean, like it'd have been cool to like meet Tony, and it just, I mean, there's a slew of Everton people that have come on the show. Like it would have been really cool. Like Jacob Ritchie has come on the show a bunch, and I've been making plans to meet him and Alejandro from the Toffee Blues, who does a Spanish Toffee Blues show. I mean, these are very cool people that I interact with online, and I've been making plans to meet up with, just like you. And but they got to go, which is cool. And everybody had a blast, and they're sitting there like, hey, look, there's our people down there on the field. There's our yeah, and the geeking out was extraordinary. It seemed like it was for some people it was like their sporting event, one of the best sporting events of their life.
Yeah.
Which is,
It's a preseason game.
Yeah, it's a
Think
preseason
about
game,
that.
but it's
It's pretty think about that.
which is nuts. It's so nuts to think about that. But it's because it's partly seeing the team, but it's also that those connections. Putting everybody in the same place. They're meeting out, and all of a sudden, okay, there's Tim Howard. Hey, that kind of, it seems like a really just an extraordinary event in someone's life. So, what was your favorite part? Favorite part of the weekend?
I gotta say, when I got there on Saturday and we had the welcome party at the Harp and Celt, well, I had some issues with my hotel room. It was a wild thing. The check-in process was rigorous, and I have two different emails. I've got the one for like important things, and then I've got the other one for all the other nonsense that I don't want to deal with. So I thought I had reserved my hotel with my important things email address, and it turns out I did the other one with all the nonsense. So I had not completed the check-in process with my email because I had thought that they hadn't emailed me yet. when they had. But then I had to go through this whole thing where I had to like scan my ID and do all this other stuff and jump through a bunch of hoops and scan my face in. And
Jake,
I'm like,
Jake was like, the man with the rubber gloves was surprisingly gentle.
so I was really stressed out about that. But then as soon as I got done with that and got everything squared away and everything was cool, I walked in and just went at it. I'm like, I hadn't even dropped my bag off. I was still wearing my backpack because I hadn't been able to get into my hotel. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna
Dude.
walk around with my backpack and we'll be
Oh,
fine.
you look like
So,
look like you were bringing like a 12-pack of Beast Ice in there.
but
You're like, yeah, I'm here to party, guys.
yeah. That party, I think, was the highlight of the weekend. I was really only there for 2.5, 3 hours, but
Yeah.
I got to meet so many people, and I got to hang out with Aaron, and I got to hang out with Jeff, and I got to hang out with the guys from San Diego and New York,
Yes.
and I mean Nashville. Just so many people, and some of the people from my Ohio group chat were there. People from
Right
Cleveland
on.
were there. And I got to meet them for the first time. I've been talking with them over, WhatsApp for a couple years now, and I'm like, I don't even know what these people look like. So that was cool, and people kept buying me drinks, and uh, Jeff knocked a beer out of my hand, which was really funny. I got to start the Richarlison chant in the bar, which was also really cool. That
Wow.
was awesome. So I think that welcome party was just that. It was a huge welcome party for everyone, and we just had a grand old time, and I got really plastered too. So
Yeah, that happens. I will.
when
I
you're
will.
when you're hanging out with a bunch of Evertonians, it's bound to happen.
Yeah,
It's basically impossible.
especially when it's like a party that's like years and years due. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like it's all this like credit you're finally cashing in. Like, hey, we've been patient. By the way, I realized Jeff is like this super sophisticated, very mature guy. But I like to think and imagine the idea of when he knocked the beer out of your hand, he was performing some sort of Coyote Ugly style dance on top of the bar.
I wish.
I know he would never, but the mind boggles and it would
I
be
wish
hilarious.
that would be really funny. I wish.
So, Jeff, note to you, let's make that scene. Let's see that happen. Oh my gosh. Well, so that is awesome. And I mean, it's pretty much what I expected. I'll be honest. I was expecting to hear pretty much that. Everybody talking about how it was like the best time of their life, and that's what I was expecting. So I'm envious, I will say. I was disappointed not to be able to go. For people who don't know, I was planning. I had tickets, and then when they refunded the tickets, I realized that the documentary I was making, the team that I've been following, kept winning. The men's team kept winning, and so when Orlando happened, I could either go to Orlando, and that would mean that we wouldn't have as good of camera coverage for their game. They had two games in Statesboro, Georgia, and we wouldn't have had as extensive a coverage. And I'd already missed one weekend of the team's playoffs. And basically, if they won those games, that meant they went to the national championship. And I'm directing the movie. It's a big thing. Like I can't get over how the fact that it's one of the biggest opportunities in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm working with like some buddies of mine, and I'm super proud of what my group has been doing. But the team, like, we're bonded. This right here, I don't know if you can see it. This is a bracelet that the coach's daughter made for us and the team, because we're filmmakers. We're just goofy filmmakers, and they treated us like we were on the team. And I cannot stress to you enough how cool the bonding experience was. And I probably was just as hungover as the Evertonians were come Monday morning, because the team won not just Friday night, but also Sunday night. And Sunday night meant they went to the national championship. And that was a big, big thing for this team coming out of North Carolina. You're just so happy because we've been seeing all the work they've done, you know? And so we ended up after that going to Iowa. And guess what? We drove right past Cincinnati. We drove to Iowa because my camera guy, he can't fly. So yeah, I went on a road trip to Iowa to watch the national championship game. And I was really proud of the guys. They lost 1-0 on an ugly goal to a good team. And it was heartbreaking because I had to sit there and it was me and the camera guy, which meant I had to hold a camera too. And I don't normally do that. I normally work with people. Not with cameras.
Yeah.
But after the game, the team is like broken.
Yeah.
They are broken. And here comes me with the camera.
Right.
And I'm going to, I know we're friends and all. I know I've been following you all year and I really care how you're feeling, but let me put a camera in your face while you cry. Let me at one of your worst feeling. The thing is, here's the thing though, it shouldn't be a low moment because they felt that awful because their bond was so strong and because they had achieved something magnificent. And so it was a really, it's a big thing to be a part of, and the movie's going to be great. I'm super proud of it. But then like the next morning, I got a message on my phone from one of the players, and the whole team was on this big long WhatsApp message thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm only telling this story because I swear to God, it has a relevance to Everton. So number one, the head coach and the assistant are huge Liverpool fans, right? So they are constantly busting my balls about Everton, like nonstop, but they're really good people. You know what I mean? So then, there's a lot of really good people who are Reds. They just are. I feel like everybody out there knows that. There's just a section of the fan base that's hard to deal with, but these are good people. And so I was expecting, some kind of ball busting or whatever. But then a player says, "Hey, Gerry," or Jezza, because that's what they call me. And they're like, "Hey, I'm about to send you a message. Tell me that you're receiving this." And I said, "Sure. Hi, how's it going?" And the next thing that comes in is a message. He says, "Hey, we really appreciated you being able to be here, but it broke our heart that you couldn't go watch Everton. So we decided to do this for you. Hope you enjoy it. I just sent it to your message inbox. Watch that."
Okay.
And for everybody else out there, we'll play it on the screen so you can see it.
No way. Hold on.
Hi Gerry, I'm sorry to hear that you missed out on coming to the Florida Cup because you had to stay back with the NC lads to finish the documentary. I know you would have loved to have come, as I've heard you're a massive Everton fan, but I love the dedication you showed to stay, and I hear the lads really appreciate it. So good luck to the lads and yourself, and I hope you get to bring it home. All the best, lads.
That's so cool.
I just saw the image, the still frame of Tom Davies' face, and I just started weeping, just crying. I had not been able to cry the night before, okay? Because I'm sitting here, it's a weird feeling. You have to try to be professional, but at the same time, you want to hug everybody. And I see that, and I just start bawling. I'm in the drive-through of Wendy's in Des Moines, Iowa, and I'm with my, and I'm not hungover this time, thank goodness. All right, because I couldn't have done it twice in 1 week. But I see that, I just start weeping, and I watch it, and I'm bawling my eyes out. It turns out the Brazilian guy, his name is João. All right, lots of people would say João, but he's always said, it's pronounced João, but everybody calls him João. And he said he played with one of Tom Davies' good friends in college. They're like good buddies, and they hang out together. And he said, "I've never asked anybody to do this kind of thing for me before, but the guy did it and sent me a message, and I was speechless.
Wow.
It's not many people have done anything for me like that before, and yeah. So, and I don't even know if that kind of story is even going to make it into the freaking documentary. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have a place to talk about how somebody gave the filmmaker a gift, that happens to be soccer related and cuts right to his core as a person. My kid's first kit was Tom Davies, Jake. Okay? Yeah. My kid's first kit. It's absurd. I told them before, I said, man, if my kids end up like Tom Davies, I'm happy. What a good guy. What a well-adjusted, just kind soul who's just okay being himself.
Yeah.
My kids are like that, and that they're that grounded into life. They're gonna be all right. It probably won't be because of me. So yeah, man, it's just crazy that came up. So anyway, that's a thing that happened, Jake. And
that's so cool.
Yeah.
The whole story is cool. Like those guys, I mean, what you had to go through with those guys is incredible. And for them to feel so connected to you that they wanted to he wanted to reach out and get Tom Davies to send you a video, like that's, and for Tom Davies to then be cool and like to do the video, like it's just I have such an irrational love for Tom Davies that it's just like that makes me really happy, because it's not like he's not playing pretend out there. Like this is who Tom Davies is, and he represents Everton so well. So that's awesome.
Yeah, like I've been sitting on that video for a while. I didn't put it on social media. I don't know. It's like it felt wrong because it was a gift, to immediately put it out there, because it's like I was like, man, that's something that somebody did for me, and I don't want to. But now that I've had some time to kind of absorb it, my family's seen it. My family went ape shit over it, and I sent it to Toffee Blues John. He's like, Gerry, you got to share this, and I don't know. I just want to make sure that I could put it in context for people and let them know why it happened, and just kind of reinforce the fact that he's a freaking top guy, just a good fella. So thank you, Tom Davies. You're not going to watch this. I'm just
I hope Tom Davies is watching this. My God, man, I hope is he watching this. That'd be amazing.
But anyway, if anybody can get the message out to him, thanks, man. That had me in tears, and my family is all blue. And you're one of the reasons. So thanks. All right, so crazy things abound is what I'm saying. Like I don't. I say that as a surprise for you, by the way, because I didn't want to blow it.
That's crazy. God.
So anyway, okay. So that's some updates in our lives.
Yes.
And by the way, I'm thinking I'm going to shave all this and go much shorter hair soon, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Because, just, I don't know. I've been like Mr. All About Comfort for a while, and I worry that I'm looking like a much older fellow. So I asked my wife, and she was like, "You really want me to tell you?" What? I said, "Sure. Yeah, that's fine." She was like, "Yeah. Shave and cut it shorter." I was like, "Okay, cool." But it's like I do that, and I automatically become even more boring again. So it's like, at least I had slacker. Now I'll have nothing. So, hey. All right. So let's talk brief Everton updates before we go into questions and a Southampton preview. Okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Signings. We've had some new ones. It has not been a typical transfer window. It is, I mean, can we just say something out loud? There's not a lot of optimism right now. All
There's
right.
no optimism. There's nothing out there, Jerry. Have you seen
I
it?
know.
Twitter
I
is
know.
a mess.
It's a minefield. In order, okay, let's not be as violent. It is a cow pasture, and you have to be very careful because just wade into any kind of venture of territory and you will step in cow shit and
You will.
everyone will smell you.
You will.
So
Hmm.
that's my awful metaphor for the day. You're welcome. So anyway, not a lot of optimism, but just can I say something real quick, Jake, before we
Yeah.
go?
Go for it.
I don't have a lot of expectations. And I feel great about that actually. I'm still okay with the season starting, but I'm not sitting there thinking top 4, damn it. I'm just thinking surprise me. You know what I mean? Like when you relieve yourself the burden of expectations, all of a sudden it's very freeing,
It's
right?
true.
It's very
It's true.
freeing. So I'm not expecting much. I'm expecting fundamentally sound, fairly boring football to happen
It will
when
be
we
fairly
play.
boring. Yeah.
It's just what I expect. And you know what? If we get 3 points, cool.
3 points is
You
3
know,
points, baby.
I don't want Everton to perform poorly ever,
Nobody does.
regardless of who the manager is. And you know
Yeah.
what? I feel like he usually does a decent job when he's at places, and I think he wants to prove everybody wrong. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
So
get what you're saying.
so I'm not like, hey, let's do it, because that'd be bullshit. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I didn't grow up with Everton every year.
Yeah.
I didn't get them. You and I, we haven't had Everton for very long, and now we get them every year, and that's badass. So it could be worse. You know, what do you think about? I mean, first of all, really quick, how are you feeling going into the season? And then let's go into signings.
So I was actually, that's funny that you mentioned that. Towards the end of work today, I had a little bit of free time, so I was working on my Premier League preview piece that I'm writing. I'm going to put that out tomorrow. I love doing that thing, by the way. It's so fun because I get to like dive in and really get into the teams and what their squad is like, and I kind of learn a little bit. And so
I would love to do that. God, that would be
it's so
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
It is so much work. It takes a long time
Yeah.
because you have to kind of look into what teams did last year and key players and who left,
Yeah.
and especially with Crystal Palace and all their stuff that happened this
Yes, my
offseason.
God. Yeah.
Oof. But it's so much fun. I love doing it. And I hadn't really sat down and kind of actually put thought into what I expect out of Everton this coming season. It's kind of been a whirlwind,
Yeah.
Carlo up and leaves out of nowhere. We're in a bit of a dead zone waiting for a manager to get hired. Rafa gets hired. You had the fan backlash and all of that going on. Then I go to Orlando and hang out with Evertonians. And then it's, I come back home and it's a week until the season starts, or 2 weeks until the season starts. And I'm like, I haven't had any kind of time to kind of sit down and think about where I think this is headed this season. So we have essentially the same squad with maybe a couple depth signings as it stands. However, it seems like some people might be out the door before the end of the transfer window.
Starting to look like it, eh?
We had some news today about some players training on their own, a couple of them, some big names, which is interesting.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Interesting. So with all that being said, I think there's been a lot of turnover, and I think with a new manager, especially like Rafa, there could be some growing pains, let's say. I think they'll be okay this weekend. We'll get into that more later. But I right now I'm kind of as things stand, I'm kind of expecting a bottom table finish, not like 14th or whatever, but I'm thinking I think I have them at about 11th right now. I think
Yeah,
that's
I think
about
it's
where
fair.
my expectation, and I think it'll be like 9 or 10 points less than what we had last year. So we had 59 points last year and finished in 10th when it could have been like 7th. I think we were like 2 points behind 7th or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think this year it'll be about 9 or 10 points less, and
I do like
one or
the idea
two
of thinking in
spots
terms of points,
lower.
Jake. I like
Yeah.
thinking in terms of points. That's good.
Well, and I was talking with some of the people in the group chat, and they brought up a good point. Like 59 points usually gets you top 6, like basically guaranteed. And last year, like everyone had 59 points or 60 points or 61 points. And a couple different results go your way, and this season looks a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
It probably would have been a bad thing now looking at it if we would have gotten Europe, but I don't know how finances would have worked differently. I don't know. I have no idea. So, but I think it'll be about 10 points or around that less than what we had last year, which I think is realistic for what we have. It's about the same squad plus a few players, and it looks like Jean-Philippe Gbamin is healthy and looking really strong, and he looks like a good player. So I don't know. I think you should expect just a little bit less than what you got last year, and if you get more, then so be it. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Yeah. How are you feeling about of the signings we've made so far? Begovic, Townsend, Gray. Have I missed anybody?
Nope, that's the only 3 that we got so far.
Out of all those, who are you feeling the most confident in?
Well, it seems like Andre Gray has really come in and kind of stamped his
Damari Gray.
Damari Gray. It's not Andre Gray. Cut that. Damari Gray.
Even if he leaves it in, it's an understandable.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
you
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andre Gray used to play for Watford. And
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So I don't know why I'm thinking Andre.
It's all right.
Gray. Anyway,
So Damari Gray
has really come in and kind of been a really bright spot for Everton. I didn't get to watch the United preseason match. I didn't wake up on time. It was really early, and I stayed up late the night before, so didn't get to watch that. Heard he played well again in that match. I liked what I saw out of him in Florida when he came into this second half in the Millenarios game, and he looked excellent. He kind of changed. He kind of changed the whole thing because in the first half they were kind of stale. They were kind of rigid. There was nothing really going forward. Him and Jean-Philippe Gbamin came in the second half, and they changed the whole dynamic. Everything was moving forward more often, and obviously he scored the penalty. So he's looked really good. I think Andros Townsend has been solid from what I've seen. I still hope that they bring in like a right winger so that he can be more of like a bench guy or like a spot start guy if you need him, like if your normal right winger is tired. But I think even if he is your starting right winger to start the season, you could do worse. I mean, he's a good player. He's getting up there in age, but we saw the shot that hit the crossbar against Millenarios, and that was, I mean, he just put it on his left foot and unleashed a bullet, and it just so happened to hit the crossbar, which also gave us that really great bit of commentary. I don't know if you saw the quote on Twitter. I was like,
it won't go away.
I was like, what is that? Why? And it was so funny. But
I love it. I love it. I'm totally fine with it. I'm totally fine with us putting all kinds of making everybody weirded out by it. I'm totally fine with it because you know what? Because it's somebody forcing an American thing into it, and I think it's funny.
Yes.
Do I think it fits? But at the same time, it's sort of funny to me. So whatever.
Yeah. And then we have Begovic. I got to see him play. He played the whole match against Millenarios, and obviously he had the game-winning penalty, the match-winning penalty, which was cool. Got to see that. That was cool. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll do a good job of pushing Jordan Pickford. You know, there are some people who think that maybe he's not good enough to push Jordan Pickford, and to a certain extent, that's right. But I also think if he needs to come in, you're not going to be lost. You know, he's a big guy. He makes good saves. So I'm okay with that signing. I think, you know, João Virginia needs, or is it João Virginia? How did you say João?
Well, the way he pronounced it, the way João pronounces it is João. But again, João is from Brazil, and their version of Portuguese is different
Oh, that's
than
right.
Portuguese.
That's right.
So it may be different there. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't want to speak for
All right.
all
Well,
the
I
language.
will call him. I'll call him João Virginia, since that's what I know him as. I think he might be ready to be a backup next year because they only signed Begovic on a 1-year deal. So I think João Virginia might be. Well, he's looking at getting a loan move here before the window closes. So I think if he has a good loan, I think you're looking at João Virginia as your number 2 next year behind Jordan Pickford, which I think is really cool. So Begovic, fine. Damari Gray looks like a real bright spot, and Andros Townsend should be a fine addition to the squad.
I've wanted Damari Gray for a while on our team. And what's really funny is I'm pretty sure Steve Walsh wanted Damari Gray back in the day. Just pretty sure that was a thing, but I don't think he would have gotten him for the price.
He wasn't ready.
That we just got him. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it would have been more expensive. He wasn't ready.
It would have been so much more expensive.
He would have been a lot more expensive, man. So I like the it's just an uninspiring situation because as Evertonians, we've known we've needed a right back
forever. At least 3 seasons. I mean,
it's been a while.
Some people were saying like, oh, back 4 seasons ago, and I'm like, maybe you could have done that. Like, if you could have gotten somebody and like kind of slowly weaned off Seamus Coleman, but then he probably would have moved somewhere else, and I think that would have been a bummer. But at least probably 3 seasons we've known we've needed a right back, and we were still sitting here shaking our heads, and Seamus Coleman and John Joe Kenny are our options going into this season, which is not good. It's dreadful. So
I mean, I feel pretty confident we're going to get someone in. I feel pretty confident that, John Joe Kenny will find a team somewhere. I feel like that'll happen. I don't like coming on here and like straight up disrespecting John Joe Kenny because I've seen him have good games for us in the past. But I don't think he had, from the vibes I got from Celtic folks, is he didn't have the best season last year. And I feel like he's probably down on his confidence, is my guess. Because when you get down on your confidence, that can just ruin your whole game for years. So that's one of the things Carlo was really good at doing, is bringing people up. But guess what? He shipped Kenny out. So John Joe Kenny didn't benefit from that at all. And I think we'll bring somebody in. It's just not going to be Dumfries. People seem very heartbroken today. People seem really upset. He seems a good player, but I got to be honest. I'm no longer in that camp where I'm like, oh, that's the one solution. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not there anymore. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of players that we can find that could come in and be, deputize behind Coleman and then eventually get some starts over him. Cool. It's not all Dumfries or die. You know what I mean? It's just not for me.
And a lot of people are starting to, bring up the Diego Dalot on loan, which would be fine. I'd be okay with that. He's a decent player.
And there'll be a fairly sizable loan fee, is what I saw from United, like 4 or 5 million. Yeah. So, but that happens. Then there was rumors about a right back in Antwerp. I think he's like 24 years old.
Yeah. So I did see an update on that. I saw it was reported that he wouldn't be considered a starter for Everton, and that it would be tough for him to get a work permit. So
yeah, I did see that.
That
That's bitten us in the ass before, though, hasn't it? Where we bought players and then we can't.
Henry Onyekuru. Nope. So, not a single match.
But again, I feel like we'll get somebody. I think it's whether or not we're getting another wide player. People are curious about that. And whether or not, if we lose Moise Kean, are we getting another striker to come in? Which people seem very, very attached to the fact that it'll be a veteran striker, possibly in the mold of someone like Solomon
Rondon. Yeah.
So, again, if he's depth, I'm good with him being depth. He's good energy. He works his ass off. He seems like he's a great guy. I've got no issues if he's depth. You know what I mean? But if you're bringing Rondon in as a starter, that's when I start having questions.
That would be a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're bringing him in just to be able to bring in somebody who can win a header and work on hold up play and link it up, I mean, that's cool. Bring him in there as another extra body. Sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And he's good energy. Why not?
Right.
So yeah. But we're linked to Longstaff, which I'm guessing just a little additional depth at that position is what we're talking about there.
I would imagine so.
But yeah, and I don't know what to make of that. I know he almost went to United for a very large sum was
like
40 years
million
ago?
pounds or whatever.
Yeah, it was a lot. So anyway, it's just, I guess the lack of optimism comes from the sexy signings haven't hit yet. Nothing of and also no one feels like we can because of financial fair play. We feel like we got to sell these other players in order to bring in, and it's just we feel as fans we feel hamstrung.
Yeah.
And it's like we're trying to figure out where the optimism's coming from, and that's why I just keep saying to myself, you know what? Expectations. Put them over here. Let's see what happens. Maybe we bring in somebody cool at right back. We'll see. I don't know.
Yep.
I'm not negative though. I'm not gonna say
no. No, I'm
negative.
actually very excited. I'm kind of excited, and these first 5 matches are pretty easy. They're not super difficult, so chance there to kind of pick up some points early on and
I will
those
say
spirits a little bit.
I'm not going there. you can go there, Jake. You're bolder than myself, maybe. I'm gonna hold tight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what I'd love to see is see us get in a habit of beating teams that we feel like we've got a little manpower over.
Yeah.
But with Saints, with Southampton, I don't know what to expect. They signed a bunch of they have all these attacking players. I don't know how they're going to play them all. It's weird. I don't know how they're going to get all these people on the field at the same time. We'll get to that later, though.
Yeah,
anyway,
we sure will.
We should go to the mailbag.
To questions.
Questions. I'm going to keep that over there. So, questions. We're going to start with Terry McAllister. And everybody knows Terry. If you don't, your life is just so much worse without it. He and his brother Paul, I far prefer them to the McAllisters in Home Alone. It's not even close.
Yeah,
they're so much better. Terry and Paul would never leave their kids at home when they were going to Paris. They would never do that.
That's right.
I'm just kidding. They've told me several times they would do that. So anyway, Terry's always cool enough to drop a question every once in a while. And if those of you who don't know who Terry is, he does Toffee Blues program as well. I've seen him all over the place lately, and his brother Paul also is part of the Toffee Blues crew. So Terry asks, what do you see? This is a hard question, Terry. You jerk, asking the hard questions. You knew it'd be hard for me, man. You knew it.
Yeah.
What do you see Richarlison's role being under Benitez? He seems to want to provide crosses for DCL, hence the Townsend and Gray signings. But Richarlison is a wide player, like a forward player, not really known for his crossing. No. I haven't. I can't really think of a lot of times when Richarlison went down the left wing and used his left foot to put one at the spot for DCL. It just doesn't happen that much. But he's great in the air himself. He is. Richarlison is decent header in the air.
Yeah.
Could we see 2 up front?
I would like to see 2 up front, especially if we're going to offload James Rodriguez. I think I think we got the best out of Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin when they were playing as a striker tandem. That was the year that they both hit double figures, I believe. That was the year before Carlo came in, right? That was, yeah. That was okay. I got that now. Okay. But I do believe, as it currently stands, he will play out wide on the left, and he will break in through the center when the opportunity is presented. He can cut it back onto his right and deliver a cross. He's not the best crosser, but he's not terrible. He does not have a good left foot for crossing from what I've seen. But he does play well with Luka Dean on that left side. They do play off each other very well. They're really good at those one-touch go and then feed the ball back to the other guy kind of passes.
And most of the creative play comes from Luka Dean bombing up the left, doesn't it? His crosses are pinpoint. That's why it's weird to try to figure this out. It's a hard question. By the way, Terry, I was joking about the jerk thing. I have a lot of love for you. So just don't take that seriously.
So what I would say is I think the likelihood of having two strikers starting Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin is kind of low, but I think we will see Luka Dean and Richarlison setting each other up out wide when need be, and whoever is going out wide to receive those balls, the other person's going to cut inside and kind of either do a false run and take a defender away or just get into the box to be an extra body. So I think it'll work out okay. I do think Richarlison works better as a striker rather than somebody playing out wide.
I like him in that left forward role, but I could easily see a situation where we run like a 4-4-2. I could easily see it. What if throwing this out there, what if we ran 3-5-2?
Yeah.
What if we did that? And then we've got, I mean, I know we've poo-pooed it in the past because Everton kind of screwed up when we played three in the back in the past. However,
last season,
if we do that, we've got those two up front or two of some kind. And if we could potentially run three, and then we have Luka Dean actually making those runs up the left flank and making the crosses in. And Seamus Coleman, who we have seen can get forward, and it'll take a little bit of the defensive responsibility off of him, which wouldn't be bad. We could take advantage of the fact that, at that point we'd be running three in the middle. So we do have at least three, maybe four starting capable center mids that could kind of, play those roles. And then you got your two up front. I don't know where that leaves Damari Gray and Townsend, but I think it's a decent starting 11 if we roll like that. I think then we would – I like the fact – right now what I see, dude, is flexibility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we ran a 4-4-2, then we probably want some athleticism in the middle with Decore and JPG, right?
I'd say so.
Damari Gray on one side, Townsend or another winger on the other side, and Richarlison and DCL up top. I mean, that could happen. It could be interesting. So there's a couple of different options that I think are viable.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. So Terry, miss you, man. Thanks for the really difficult question. Yeah, I think we could see two up front. I do. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to happen next game because I'm not completely sold on the fact that we should start Richarlison this weekend after him playing so much. I feel like he's like, hey, I'm ready to play, but at the same time,
he's going to come in there and basically demand to start. I know Richie, man. He's going to walk in there.
He's not trained.
He's going to be pissed if he doesn't start.
Here's what I would do. I would love to just let's not start him. Bring him in later. Be like, hey, we want to play you, but daggone it, you haven't trained with the team at all, right? At all. But we bring you in to let you just score and do a pigeon dance, essentially. And now it's time for a moment with Bowsy Toffee Tits.
Hey.
Yes. The man, the myth, the legend, who got Bowsy Toffee Tits put on the back of an Everton kid. This guy's great, and he's been submitting thought-provoking, considered questions for a really long time for us, and we've always got a lot of love and time for this guy. And of course he's just loaded us up here. So Aaron asks, what do you make of the signing so far? Nothing awe-inspiring, but much-needed attacking speed and solid backup goalkeeper. I think both of us would say, yeah, it's decent.
Agreed.
It's decent.
Agreed.
I think if we had a sexy signing, we'd be a lot more optimistic. And if we felt like there was money before getting rid of players, there would be it wouldn't be as, that's kind of a very widespread Everton sound right now.
Let's get this over with.
Question 2, are you worried that we are so constricted by financial fair play and our past failures? Other teams have made great signings like Leicester and Villa. Do we need better lawyers? First of all, yes, we do need better lawyers, period. But yeah, don't you think we're totally constricted by financial fair play right now?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, would be hard. You'd be hard pressed to say otherwise. Otherwise, we would have probably signed Denzel Dumfries for a good price. I mean, he just went for like 10 million pounds or whatever, 12 million euros or whatever it was. Like, he was cheap. And he's a good player. Like, and if you think, although I did also hear that we had an agreement and he turned Everton down because his agent got in his ear and said, hey, Inter's interested. You just kind of have to wait. I heard that. So
it's possible.
That's a bummer.
I mean, plus it's Inter. They just won the Serie A.
Right. They just won the Serie A. Like, come on. Like, you're going to choose Everton over Inter Milan? That's not likely.
Here's the thing. Had he done it, had he chosen us over them, we'd know we'd have a player we want to hold on to. Because the idea of choosing Everton is a big thing with the players that are here. The ones that want to be here, that's key.
They want to be here. Like, right. So, financial.
And also, one other thing, Jake. One other thing to keep in mind: not just financial fair play, but also our past failures. Aaron was very specific here. The fact that maybe we've signed players we just can't offload right now.
There's a certain someone who shall remain nameless because he has remained nameless in all of the news, who we spent 45 million pounds on when he was, I believe, 28 at the time. There's also another guy who scored 1 goal in a preseason friendly who cost 20 some odd million pounds. His name was Sandro Ramirez. He was really bad. We did offload him for some money, which was good. There was Davy Clausen, who cost us 20 plus million pounds.
We didn't pay that much for Sandro. It was only like 5, I thought. We got like a really we got a really good deal on it. We got a really good deal on him because of some like agreement he had.
It still didn't work out. It still didn't work out. It was still terrible.
No, I'm still disappointed in that one.
We spent however much money we spent on Yannick Bolasie. We spent money on Cenk Tosun. Now, to be fair, if Cenk Tosun wouldn't have blown his knee out at Crystal Palace were going to snap him up for money. Bastikas
we can say that about several players, though. I mean, had Bolasie not messed his knee up at the same time I did and had the same problem I did, he would have actually performed better and not had a massive setback and not been so difficult to kind of move on later.
I mean, you can go down the list of players. Theo Walcott costs a lot of money.
Did you say Theo Walcott?
Theo Walcott, yeah.
I hope that's how you really say his name.
I do say it like that sometimes.
Great.
It doesn't happen every time, but yeah.
Please keep doing it. I want to keep catching it and giggling.
Well, you know what happens is like I watch I watch the English commentators say it, and they sometimes have that like they don't say Theo, they say Theo Walcott. You know what I'm saying? Like they get that. So that happens sometimes, and then sometimes and then there's Alex Iwobi, and everyone likes to throw, he cost 30 million pounds, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of a bummer because you're not even gonna get half of that. So past failings, there's a massive list of players who you just swung and missed on, and then there's a smaller portion of players who probably would have been decent signings had they not gotten hurt. Somebody like I think Yannick Bolasie actually would have been a pretty good signing if he wouldn't have gotten hurt. But he got hurt and he was older, so coming back when you're older from a serious injury is a lot more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyway, so in short, Aaron, the answers to those three questions are yes, yes, and yes.
Yes, that's correct.
3 yeses. Why?
Three yeses.
Why? That doesn't work. Anyway, so next, because this guy is a question machine. Okay, I feel like we know the answer. Can you see James leaving before the end of the transfer window? Speculation is worrisome considering he's one of our best attacking players. He's one of our most creative players, if not the most, Luka Dean as well. But yeah, I mean, James is one of our most creative players. Injuries aside, can you see him leaving? Yes, I agree with you. Yes.
He's gone. Like, I said to somebody today, we have seen the last of James Rodriguez in an Everton shirt. Like, we'll never see him pull it on again. That's it. It's done. And I honestly believe that. And that's a significant bummer. He was on Twitch today. Everyone's always quoting what he says on his Twitch streams, and he's like, I'm probably not going to play this weekend. And it seems like from all reports that Rafa Benitez has kind of frozen him out and said that he's not going to be playing for Everton. He doesn't fit what we're doing. And
not
I understand.
Not to his taste. Yes. Not to his taste.
And I understand why people are upset. James Rodriguez is an excellent player. And I understand that you want him here. I want him here. Like, I want him to play for Everton this season. This is his last year on his contract. But, like, if we're so hamstrung by financial fair play and maybe he's an extra player who, like, maybe he just doesn't fit what Rafa is trying to do with formations. Maybe he's not flexible enough.
I think that's exactly it.
I don't know what it is, but there has to be a reason. I don't think it's just like, oh, well, Rafa hates him, so he's going to be gone. Like, and I understand why people are upset. I mean, I'm not happy about it. I want to see him keep playing for Everton, but if we need to get rid of players and he's like, lukewarm about staying and Rafa doesn't want him here, then let's get some money in so that we can improve Everton. Like, James Rodriguez is not bigger than Everton, and he's not acting like he's bigger than Everton, but he's also, it's a business. So it's a business decision, but absolutely he's gone. Like, he's not staying.
Yeah. It's the rumors that he's training by himself. It really is everything you need to know. And Moise Keane deleting all his Everton pictures. That sucks.
One really got
I feel like that's immature for him to do that. But you know what? He's a young dude. I was a young dude at one point. I realized it's impossible for you to believe. But at one point, I was a young dude. I didn't have social media back then because no one had it. We
wasn't a thing.
For social media, I would write a letter and then use a wax seal. And I would call the town messenger and say, hey, go poke somebody over there in the nearby town. So I get it. But it's still annoying to see. You wish he'd have a little bit more respect for the club when I feel like he does know that the fans do give a shit about him. I'll be honest. I was sort of excited about him. The idea of him coming and making a go of it and being an option because he was going to get time. He was going to get time, I think. And you just wish he could be patient and work through it. But I think he just wants to be a starter from day one, period.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And I mean, he did come to play for Carlo Ancelotti, and he just up and left. Like,
yeah,
boop, bye, see you later. And James Rodriguez had to be hurt by that. He didn't know that was going to happen. Nobody knew that was going to happen, and he just left. And now he's playing under Rafa, who apparently they have history together, and it's not great history. So, like, you knew he had to be hurt, like, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, he's a creative player and all. I get the vibe that Rafa values defense over everything right now.
Yeah.
I think he wants players that track back. I think he wants players that will be 100% all for him and do exactly what he says and to be exactly clicking in his system. And I get the vibe. And honestly, I got the vibe later on last season. You hear rumors that players were annoyed with the fact that James didn't work super hard when he's on the field. Okay? He's a number 10 can't function like a number 10 anymore. Number 10 has to have an element of number 8 these days. You have to be able to get your ass back. You can't just be the creative player anymore. I just got done watching a video on Tifo Football. It's an older video, but you just can't be a number 10, a straight up number 10 anymore. The game has passed it by. Your teammates need support.
Yeah,
and
especially those midfielders, and especially when Everton are playing two pivoting midfielders in this, like, in the middle. Like, you can't just leave them on an island. You can't leave Allen and Doucouré on an island and just expect them to cover all the ground. Like, you have to go back a little bit.
So I love the player. My family loves the player. Don't want him to leave, but do I get where some of this is coming from? Yeah, I do.
It's a necessary evil.
I hate it.
I'm willing to hear out Rafa Benitez. He's going to have his press conference in the morning. He's obviously going to be asked about these things. I'm willing to hear him out. We haven't heard anything from him about this situation or the Moise Kean situation, so I want to hear what he has to say about it.
I don't know. When I've talked to Rafa, all he's told me is that he finds the fact that James is so attractive distracting. He's like, I can't focus on the field. I'm just looking at the guy.
He's just too attractive.
He's too alluring. He's
an Adonis.
It's a very primal feeling that rumbles inside me.
Oh, gosh.
Please let that be the reason. What a story! What a story! Okay. Anyway. Lastly, Aaron Freeze asks if we have recovered from Orlando and my documentary travels. So, have you recovered from Orlando yet?
Yes. So, lucky for me, I basically didn't eat all day Saturday before I went to this shindig and had like 5 or 6 Guinnesses whilst I was there, and went to my hotel room and did not have any water before bed, did not have any water before I left the bar. I was super worried. I went to bed and I woke up the next day and I kind of laid there for a second and I'm looking around at the light to see if it's blinding. I'm like, do I have a headache? I was fine. Oh. It was completely fine. And I didn't get sunburnt while I was in Florida, and it didn't rain. So I'm fine. I'm great. Yeah. Unfortunately, I've basically gone backwards since I came back from Florida because of all this stuff happening with Everton. They're trying to drag everybody down. Trying to drag each other down. The first match is on Saturday. You hear all kinds of stories on Twitter about people and the season tickets and how it's a mess and people aren't getting their season tickets yet. And it's, 2 days before the match. And I'm like, this whole off season has just been one thing after another. We need one really big thing to happen before the transfer window ends to just kind of bring everybody back in, or, a win at Goodison Park on Saturday would probably do that too.
Yeah, some good vibes would be nice. Yeah.
Would be really nice.
Yeah. So it took me a couple days to get over my celebration that I had with the team. I had never had beer out of a trophy.
That'd be pretty cool, right?
That was nice. My glasses have been scratched
Oh,
because
wow.
I got pushed late night into the pool at about 4:30 a.m. I'm 43. This shit just is not in my life, and uh,
uh,
so am I recovered physically? Yes. Emotionally, no, nah, man. That was some really crazy life stuff that was happening.
well, and like,
So
I wanted to bring this up earlier. It had to feel a little bit like on a very minor scale, kind of like that second season of Sunderland Till I Die, where they go all the way to the playoff final only to lose at the end. And you obviously, you felt a little bit of what those documentarians felt, right? Like those
yeah,
guys had to watch these guys all season, make it all the way to a playoff final, take the lead on an own goal on a ridiculous mistake, and then end up losing 2-1 in extra time right before penalties. It's a
mhm.
little bit different, but like on a smaller scale, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it was such a crazy because that game, by the way, had 7,300 people at it at a USL2 game
Wow.
in Des Moines.
Wow.
Okay, their
Holy
team has
cow.
support. The team that we were following, no one was picking them to win. No one. And the fact that they got as far as they did was crazy.
That's
No one
crazy.
was expecting them to do what they did. It was I don't know. It's just one of those special, cool seasons. It was neat, and but it's weird. It's like, yeah, they lost, but the fact that they were like that close and they experienced like that growth, because got to be honest, Jake, that league is where college kids go to sharpen their skills to go back to college. Not many of these teams are thinking, hey, we're going to bond and we're going to have a life experience. And the
Right.
fact that they did it, I mean, and you could see how impacted they were at the end of the game. Yeah, they were hurt, but at the same time, I mean, there's something pretty amazing that they got to experience that.
Right.
So it's just I don't know, man. It was a wild thing I haven't been a part of before. And the fact that they made us a part of it, the coaches and the players were so like, hey, come on in, like the night of after it happened, everybody was in the hotel lobby. They met and got in a circle and they all went around the room, including us, the filmmakers who didn't have our cameras, by the way, and just said our best memory from the season on and off the field. Everybody did it. And who's doing that?
Yeah.
It's just a special thing. I didn't mean to go off on it again, but anyway. So yeah, have I recovered? Yeah, physically, yeah, because that was bad hangover, folks.
I'm good.
Bad one.
I'm good.
Anyway,
Thank
and
you, Aaron,
also,
for hanging out.
yeah, and I missed you, Aaron. And he also says he has ruddy, bloody missed these shows. So
Haven't
looking
we all?
forward to it. That was very cool. Following up, Mark at DNA EFC. I just want to say, Mark said some nice stuff on Twitter, but I wasn't sure if he was talking about me or about Rob Vera, who had also said something very nice, because he said something about listening to my voice like sitting on a Chase lounge, and I'm like, wait a minute, Rob's voice is so great, he has to be talking. So Mark, if you were talking about me, that's super nice, and thank you. The reason I didn't respond is because I thought you may be talking about Rob, because his voice is like, electric sex pants. It's ridiculous. So my voice just, I feel like Gilbert Gottfried compared to the guy, So if you were talking about me, that's super nice. So thank you,
Oh,
guys. Anyway,
that's funny.
so Mark has a really hard question that I can't answer. I'm gonna screw this up because I came straight from work home, started to prep for the show, saw this, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this question. 3 30 million pound signings to make us challenge top 4. What would they be? You gonna start with positions?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll start with positions.
Where's the
Obviously,
obvious?
right back. Okay, so I want to preface this by saying I don't think that there are any $30 million signings that could make Everton push for top four, but that's not the question. So we're going to take this as a hypothetical, and we'll just say that these $30 million signings will push Everton towards top four. Now, this one was linked a lot before and then just completely went away. I think the quoted price for Max Aarons was £30 million. So I'll go with Max Aarons. Max Aarons is a solid player.
Great one.
He's really good going forward. He's a decent defender. His crossing's not super excellent, but he is willing to get up and down the field. And I think him and Ben Godfrey being teamed up together again would really add some needed chemistry to that back line. They've obviously worked together before. It was in a little bit worse of a defense, obviously. There's a team that got relegated and gave up 1 million goals, but that can be forgiven, I think. The other one that I thought of, and I want to get his name right, and I don't know if I can say it correctly. He's a center forward, attacking mid, like winger type player. He plays out of Hertha Berlin. He was just with Richarlison at the Olympics. His last name is Cunha. I want to say it's
Cunha. Is it Cunha?
Cunha. I don't want to mess it up. But you know who I'm talking about, and I think most people know who I'm talking about. That guy is a real talent, and he can kind of play all across the front three, and he can even play some center forward if you need him to. He's a really flexible player, and he has had a ton of goal contributions at Hertha Berlin. He is probably one of the best players at Hertha Berlin. I think you could snap him up for 30 million. I'm kind of surprised that nobody has come in for him because he's a young Brazilian attacking player who's playing on a team that's not very good in the Bundesliga. So I think any team would love to have a player like that, and him being Brazilian and having just played with Richarlison in the Olympics, I think that would be a really and he's flexible. He can kind of move all over the pitch and play in a bunch of different positions, which I think would be great for somebody like Rafa Benitez. So he would be the other one. And I've been racking my brain all day to try to think of a third player, and I can't think of one because I'm not too well. The other position we would need would probably be like a right winger or something like that, or an attacking mid. And I got to be honest with you, like right winger is not something I'm like super familiar with. Off the top of my head, I would say Irving Lozano.
Irving Lozano.
That's the one. He plays for
good
Napoli.
Chucky.
Yes, he's a really good player. So I think you could probably get him for 30 million pounds. I think maybe. So if you're gonna ask me, gun to my head, those are the three I would go with: Max Aarons, Lozano, and Cunha. That's my choices.
All right, I'm looking up one guy to make sure. Let's see here. So one of the players I really wish we could get, just because he's young, exciting. I just want to I just want to go to League and just rate it. The talent is so absurd there.
It's good.
I really love the kid Jonathan David from Canada.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, plays for Lille.
He's so good.
He's
Lille has a couple of those players, you know.
Where is Tim Weah playing right now?
Timothy Weah is playing with. Oh, I know this one.
See, I thought he was at Lille as well too.
I think he's playing at PSG still.
I don't think so. Looking it up.
Oh, where is he? Oh, this is gonna drive me nuts.
He's at Lille, dude.
Yeah. Oh, he's okay.
He's
okay.
At Lille. He moved from PSG to Lille. So
okay.
I don't know.
The other one from Lille is Jonathan Akone. He's a really good player too. Jonathan Akone is an excellent player.
But that's, I want to. the thing that ticks me off about this is we don't need name recognition players.
Yeah.
We just don't. We don't need them right now. We need players that could come in that are full of potential, that don't have to be polished players yet. They don't. I love your Max Aaron shout. With Dumfries gone, but at the same time, I don't think we can afford to pay for him.
Well, and that's the other part of this is we're obviously talking about a hypothetical because where is Everton going to get 90 million pounds?
Yes,
for
exactly.
signing? So
that's why I feel like your Max Aaron's 30 million shout for right back is tailor made. And I don't think I feel like it's just a really good answer for that. Other positions, I feel like we need, I feel like we need another center mid. I feel like we need a right wing. I feel like we need a striker, a center forward, but that's 4 positions, which is why I don't know. I'm a little concerned about our depth in the middle. So I like the idea of just going instead with Aaron's at right back and then just dropping $60 million on a center. Double it up. You know what I mean? And get somebody like Susek or Suchek, but I bet he's more than 60.
Who, Thomas Suchek?
Yeah.
Not a chance.
You don't think he's more than 60?
Not a chance. Not a chance. He's a good player, but 60 million? Nah. No.
Right now, everything's so inflated, it would not shock me. Would not shock me.
Actually, you know what's really funny? Other than the super mega stars, a guy like Denzel Dumfries is never going for 12 million. You know what I'm saying?
It was a bargain.
That's the type of cheap price.
Yeah, honestly, see, I actually think
Daniel Malin,
encouraging.
Daniel Malin, he's the other guy who left PSV. He went to Dortmund for 30 million. 30 million euros for Daniel Malin. That's a good player. That's a really good center forward striker.
Oh, why don't we just bring in Gio Reyna? That's a good one.
Yeah. Good luck with that one.
You know what? Here's the thing. Here's a question. Do you think Pulisic, if we were to make a bid for Pulisic right now, you think we can get him for 30?
I was just about to mention something about this.
Think we could get him for 30?
You know what's funny about Christian Pulisic is
I'm saying nothing but American players and Canadian players.
Every time he plays for Chelsea, they play so much better. He makes that team run so much better, and he almost never starts from what I see. And we were all like, well, why don't we just throw in a cheeky loan bid? But I think they'll sell Ziyech before, although he just got hurt in the.
I wish that's a player I've wanted since he was in the Dutch league. A long time ago, before he moved to Ajax.
Yeah.
I've been watching that guy for a long time, and that's a player where I'm just I just feel like he's a wing player that plays like a 10, and it's so exciting. I love Ziyech.
I'll tell you, I knew this wasn't going to happen because I knew Leeds was going to snap him up. I wanted Jack Harrison at Everton.
Of course, Wake Forest, man.
That
Wake
kid
Forest
is dynamite. He is dynamite, and he would have been delightful to have at Everton. But yeah, throwing a cheeky loan. I think you could now another player from Chelsea who I think has potential to be very good and to leave Chelsea would be Billy Gilmore, and he's on loan at Norwich this season. I'm going to be watching Billy Gilmore at Norwich. He came in the 1920 season right before COVID shut everything down, and he had an excellent match against Everton in that match where they got thumped 4-0. He was excellent, and he was 19 years old. So I think that's somebody I'd like to watch and kind of see if maybe Chelsea wants to let him go and kind of watch him for next season.
So I'm just going to say something to Mark here directly. Mark, I was not prepared for this question.
No.
I need to do better. So here's the deal. I would like to do better and give you a little more considered opinions because I'm at this point, I can do better, is what I'm
Yeah.
just going to say. So, Mark,
Yeah.
your question is too good. I couldn't prep the way I wanted to. I sat there and I was looking at player values from players all over the world, looking at every league, and I was like, you know what? These values are bullshit. You know who I need to talk to? I need to talk to my son who plays FIFA.
You need a
Now,
football manager guy.
I will say, somebody give me a reminder next week so that I can do better for Mark, for real. Last questions are from John, and then we got Southampton. John, Toffee Blues John, has questions for us. Ladies and gentlemen, stop the presses. Make this quick, 20 seconds for the optimists. Why should we be excited for this season? 20 seconds and go.
There are new depth signings. Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison will be better than they were last year. John Philippe Gbamin is back, and he is better than ever. And that's about all I got.
You only needed 12 seconds. Why should we be excited? Okay, ready?
Yes.
Go. You won't be underwhelmed.
You need it less time than I did. Wow. That was like 3
That's
seconds.
what I'm saying. Think about it there. You won't be underwhelmed. You're going in. You're not psyched because you don't have a whole lot of signings yet. Everton's going to go in there. They're going to probably give you boring football and decent results. And at some point, you're going to get wrapped up in the season, and it's going to be okay.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yep.
So now,
the big thing. The thing happening.
for the pessimists, why we shouldn't be excited for this season in 20 seconds. Ready? For the pessimists. Ready, Jake?
Yes.
20 seconds and go.
Rafa Benitez is the manager. James Rodriguez is going to leave. Moise Keane is going to leave. And let's see here. Seamus Coleman is going to be the right back for the foreseeable future until the window closes.
15 seconds. Not too shabby there, sir. I'll be quick again and go. Financial fair play has completely hamstrung us, and we can't make the signings we want to make until we ship out some of these other players who want to make the Everton wages, but maybe shouldn't be playing Everton football. That's sort of our issue. We're stuck. So, yeah, it's hard to get excited when you can't make many signings. And again, you got a former Liverpool manager as our manager now.
It's true.
It's hard.
It's true.
So, last question. Tricky John. If Cinderella's shoe fit her so perfectly, then why did it fall off?
Plot holes. Those darn people at Disney didn't think about the plot holes. Shouldn't have fell off. Maybe she like adjusted it or something, and like she didn't put it all the way back on her foot, and it just kind of fell off. That's the best I got.
So what I'm going to say, John, smarty guy, fit is an interesting word. Some people may put on a tight shirt and say, wow, this fits. Other people see that same tight shirt on that individual and say, damn, that does not fit. He needs a bigger size. Okay? Fit is in the eye of the wearer or the beholder or whatever. It's perspective. So Cinderella, maybe she liked her fit a little on the loose side. Take this, for example. Gerry's wedding ring fell off in the friggin' beach Sunday on his anniversary. Okay? It fit. Clearly not tight enough. So what I will say is, John, you make a good point, but if Cinderella didn't like her shoes a little on the loosey side, you have no Cinderella.
That's right.
Okay? So maybe John just hates Cinderella. What do you have against Cinderella? What do you have against, stories for the underdog kind of makes good and brings himself up and good things happen to him? What do you have against that, John? Okay. How that I've gotten mad at John. Southampton preview. So signings, outgoings. They signed Romain Perrault to be an outside back, and they also signed Adam Armstrong, who scores goals. Brought him in from the championship, I believe.
Yes, he was
They
playing
sold
for Blackburn.
They sold Danny Ings. Thank God.
Out of nowhere.
Get that guy out. They
Ings.
just dropped. Villa just dropped that bomb just out of nowhere. They also sold Vestergaard, which crept up. I didn't know that was
doesn't
happening.
make any sense, but keep going.
They got rid of Bertrand as well. So right now, I look at a website to see the possible starters, and the formation they had running was a 4-2-2-2.
That is kind of Ralph Hasenhüttl does like that formation.
Well, that's the thing. I'm looking at this, right?
He's a weirdo.
And the majority of the players are attacking players. Like their back five makes sense. Fraser Forster, Walker Peters on the right, Bednarik and Salisu in the middle, and Perrault on the left. Okay, got it. But then you could imagine Oriol Romeu starting in the middle. But then you got like all these attacking players: Nathan Armstrong, Teo Walcott, Nathan Redmond, Che Adams, and Nathan Tella, who's a bright young player. I mean, those are all attacking players. I don't even like trying to like match it up. The formation didn't make sense to me the way it was lumped together. I don't know. But I also feel like whoever put that formation together knows a lot more about Southampton.
Yeah, probably. I don't know very much about Southampton.
Yeah, I do know. I mean, I did research the Nathan Tell. The kid looks great. He's a great young player, and
that's good.
I mean, they just always have exciting talent.
Obafemi as well. Obafemi's there, and he's a good player too.
Yeah. By the way, hold on a second.
Yeah.
One of the players I didn't mention is a player I've wanted for our team for a long time. Oh God, what the fuck's his name now? What's his name? Center mid. Plays all the some of the best.
Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, Ward-Prowse. Yeah. Why the hell didn't I say his name? Is he getting sold? I think he may be.
Seems that way. It does seem that way. It seems like he's on the way out too. So.
Gosh, they're having some transition. For that alone, I give us a little bit of chance here.
Yeah. So, I was looking at them earlier today. I was just looking at a flat roster of all the players that they have, and I'm like, these defenders are either unproven or just bang average or not very good at all. Their whole back line, I'm like, man, you are asking a lot. Like, Kyle Walker-Peters is good going forward, but defensively, he's nothing to write home about. You're bringing in a left back from Ligue 1 who has never played in the...
Is it Brest? Is what he's from? Brest?
They brought in, yeah, and he's never played in the Premier League before. He's a young guy, so unproven. Your center back options are now not anywhere. Bendernak is... He can be a bit of a mess, and Salisu basically didn't play last year. So you're asking an awful lot of that back line. Obviously, they do have some good attackers, and it'll be interesting to see how Theo Walcott does against Everton, going up against Everton. That'll be interesting. I'm sure he'll be up for it. I don't know if Adam Armstrong is going to start right out of the gate. You know, he just came in, so I would imagine that he probably starts on the bench, but it would be very Everton-like for him to get his first goal in the second half.
I could see him coming in later. I feel like they're going to need to go with somebody a little more traditional. Out of all those players, that bizarre formation I was describing, there's not a lot of central players.
Che Adams is their most natural attacking player.
Like he's a forward, though, right?
Yes.
So that's the thing.
Forward.
All those players are forwards in one way or another. I mean, that's like 5 forwards, and that just doesn't completely make sense.
Yeah, that midfield is going to be interesting to watch because if James Ward-Prowse isn't playing, woof. there goes all of your
Yeah.
free kick opportunities, right? Like you don't have a free kick taker who's gonna strike fear into the hearts of Jordan Pickford, right? Like and like I know I'm sure they've got somebody who can do free kicks, but like you're not going to be super careful about chopping somebody down 20 yards out from the goal. You know what I'm saying? Like you might be more liberal about it. So I don't know. Like this is what Southampton does. They take their players and they sell them at their peak price, and that's what they do. And then they try to recycle and start the cycle over again. But doing this so close to the opening match and selling your best center back, selling your best striker, perhaps selling your best midfielder, that's, man, like you're asking an awful lot of your team, and you must be real confident. And I mean, we're talking about a guy who's given up 2 9-goal games in the last 2 seasons. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Woof. Who are we starting?
So I think that back line, you could have some argument about the center backs. I do think Ben Godfrey will start. I think Yerry Mina should start over Michael Keane. I think Yerry Mina is just a little bit better of a defender overall. Luka Dean and Seamus Coleman right and left. Now, where it gets interesting is how many are we going to play in the midfield? I honestly think it's going to be a 4-2-3-1. So I would say I would like to see Gabaman and Decore start as those 2 defensive mids. I think they would work well together. And then you would have Richarlison, Damari Gray in the middle, and Andros Townsend on the right wing, and have Dominic Calvert-Lewin. If he's healthy, he'll start up front. I'm still kind of worried that he might not be fully fit and available. We'll find out about that tomorrow. If not, you can start Richarlison as your main striker and play Anthony Gordon on the left, I guess. That's the other thing is like left winger depth. It's not really there. So if Dominic Calvert-Lewin can't go, what are you gonna do then? Because then you kind of have to. Then you're in a situation where you probably have to start Richarlison. So
yeah, I think I agree with you. And I agree. The only backline questions that I would have is Keane or Mina.
Yeah.
Has Mina been back long enough from Copa America to
I could see Michael Keane starting
start.
if yeah.
That's my only question. I personally really like Yerry Mina, and I think Mina, Keane, or Godfrey cycling through as a starter, I'm cool with any of that. But I do think Godfrey's going to get the start. It's going to be between Keane or Mina. For some reason, I have this bizarre notion in my head that we're going to run Alan, Decore, and JPG all together. I don't know why. I think it's because I saw Decore's statement that he may be playing a little more attacking minded.
I did see that, yeah.
And so the idea of keeping Alan and JPG a little bit more, a little bit farther back, and Decore a little more advanced, Damari Gray on the side. And I'm not saying I would normally do this, but I think the possibility of Iwobi starting, I could see it happening. I know, but I could see it happening.
Fans are going to be so mad. The fume is going to be through the damn roof if Alex Iwobi's name is on that starting sheet, and we see that on Twitter. Twitter might just shut down. Everton Twitter might just pack it up and go home.
It would legit not surprise me.
No, it would be the least surprising thing ever. I saw somebody. It made me laugh. They're like, I can feel it in my bones that Fabian Delph is going to start this weekend.
I've seen somebody else say that too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Don't you speak that into existence. If Alex Iwobi and Fabian Delph this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, here's the crazy thing, though, man. Here's the crazy thing. They start and we win.
I want that. I want that. That is what I want. I want
what
that.
Happens.
We implode and just I don't know. The
Yeah.
world stops spinning.
Yeah.
I
Initially,
don't
I
know.
had Townsend over Iwobi, and then I was kind of like, I don't know. I could easily see Iwobi getting a start and Townsend being like an energy sub.
You know
later
what?
on.
If Iwobi is going to start, put him at the 10. If you're going to play like a 4-2-3-1 or whatever, if you're going to play like a number 10, put Iwobi at the 10 and start Townsend on the right. Because you're going to need those crosses from Andros Townsend. He is one of the most prolific crossers in the league. So
Yeah, I could see that. I just wasn't sure if they considered him starting material or if it was more of a like, I don't know. I think a lot of us considered him a squad
a
depth
signing.
addition.
Yeah. Well, and I think normally in a normal situation he would be, but in the situation we're in currently, it might just be all right. Well, we signed you for squad depth, but now you're starting.
Because we haven't purchased anybody to play that position
Yep.
yet. I see what you mean. I'm inclined to agree with you. I am. I think you've swayed me over. Don't ever do it again. So yeah, in DCL, who I do think will be healthy enough to start.
I hope he's fit.
Yeah. What's your prediction? What's gonna be the score?
So I actually have two different predictions based off of DCL. If DCL doesn't play, it's 0-0. It's boring. It's just miserable and just a very terrible start to the season. I mean, a draw is a point is a point, but like, a 0-0 draw against Southampton on opening day at home just sounds miserable. If DCL starts, I do think it'll be a little bit better because I think he opens up so much more for everybody else just because of how dangerous he is, how he can flick a ball on with his headers on a long ball over the top. I think that creates a lot of chaos as well. So if DCL plays, I think it'll be a 2-0 victory. I think DCL will get a goal. I don't have anybody else down for a goal that I could think of because I don't know, don't know what happens. If it's going to happen, it's good. There's so
you heard
many
it. You heard it first. Jake has predicted Delph to score the second goal.
That's not what I said. I definitely didn't say that. Fabian Delph. Oh my God! If he starts, oh man, I feel so bad for Rafa Benitez if he starts because it will be a rain of booze.
No, you can't feel bad for him for that. He will have completely invited it onto himself.
Oh man,
he will have done that knowing full well what's happening.
People will want him sacked if he starts Fabian Delph before the first ball is even kicked.
Dude, Benitez stared this job in the face, knowing that people were spray painting mean, hurtful shit
on the wrong.
And he was just at the wrong house, but also on Goodison, right?
Yeah.
And he's just like, whatever. I'm gonna coach, and it's gonna be I'm gonna do a good job.
God, I hope it worked out for him. But I think they'll win because I do think Dominic Calvert-Lewin's going to start, and I do think all of those missing players for Southampton, they're going to be a bit disjointed. I think defensively they're going to be really weak without Yannick Vestergaard back there to kind of steady them because he was very clearly their best center back, and without him, they lose a lot of height as well. I know Benrack is kind of tall too, but he's not nearly the defender that Yannick Vestergaard is. So I just think Everton have the advantage in just about every facet on paper. I think talent-wise, they're better. I think I don't know. They probably don't have as much pace as Southampton does, which is probably the only thing that worries me a little bit is that Southampton does have a little bit of pace on them, but goalkeeper, Everton's better. Striker, they have obviously got the better striker, the more dangerous striker. And even off the bench, I think Everton will be better. And I don't believe James Ward-Prowse is going to be playing in this game, which is a huge boost for Everton. So.
Agreed. I agree. However, I'm going to be optimistic and pick a 1-1 draw.
A 1-1 draw.
You don't know why.
The good news is Danny Ings can't score. So
see, that's the thing. I just got to play Villa. I'm getting a vibe that the more stale and dry the football, maybe the better right now. Let's not lose. Let's just draw it on out. Just do it for a little while.
Ask me how that's going for FC Cincinnati. I'll get back to you on that one.
I'm not saying do it forever. I'm just saying I'm just saying like right now because everything just feels so meh that I
Yeah.
feel like a 1-1 draw is a meh kind of
Yeah.
result, and it just matches the
Agreed.
meh mood. And you know
Agreed.
what? I'll still be happy we didn't lose
Yep.
because
Yep.
I'm fine with building a little more optimism on a point because that point is positive.
Yeah, I think you're gonna need a win if you want Everton fans to like not lose their damn minds.
Dude, I don't expect it to be no. I don't. I expect very few people to agree with these words, Jake. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I
in
could
fact,
see
like
it
I'm
happening.
not even gonna stand with you on this one, Gerry. Like I want to win. Like
Oh, I didn't say I
Southampton,
want. I didn't say I want it. I would obviously
you're
prefer.
expecting a draw.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay,
It just
okay.
feels. It feels like
I think you know what. Like I understand why you expect a draw, but I think it's fair to expect a win against a weak, what I would consider a weak Southampton side. Like I just, especially playing at home in front of a packed Goodison Park for the
I
first
love
time.
the
And
idea of that, of expecting a win, based, but I don't know. I haven't been like super dazzled with the play in the preseason.
it's
You know
boring.
what I mean? So
I watched
I
it in
think it's going to
Florida,
be a
and it
lot.
was
Yeah,
boring.
I think it's going to be a lot of defensive play. I think it's going to be a lot of defensive play.
I do think having Dominic Calvert-Lewin will help it open up a little bit. He just kind of
I
changes
got it.
everything. So,
Uh,
all right.
1-1. Iwobi scores. All
Oh
right,
man,
so
Alex Iwobi scores. Boy, that would be something. Let me tell you, that would be
you're
something.
welcome, world, for that one. All right, so it's a weird season, a weird year, getting off in weird fashion, and it'll be okay.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the show. Jake,
Yeah.
what do we need to plug something for you?
Yes, still writing for The Broken Anchor. I will have my Premier League preview as long as I don't fall asleep tonight. It should be out tomorrow, hopefully
Sweet.
in the morning. If not, it'll be out in the afternoon. I want it to be done before the first match comes on at 3:00, which shouldn't be an issue. I'm at like 10th right now, so should be fine.
That's a bear. That's so
Yeah,
much work.
I did the bottom half of the table earlier today. It took me like 4 hours.
You're a monster. Oh my gosh.
So I'm
Can't
doing
think about
The
that.
Broken Anchor is where I'm writing. I would also like to shout out to my brother. My brother turns 30 years old on Saturday. Happy birthday to my brother. He is a Spurs supporter, so I've got his gift right in there, and I need to wrap it. So happy birthday to my brother. He's turning 30.
Mm-hmm.
We're going out to a couple different dinners this weekend, and we're gonna have a grand time. So
what's your brother's name?
my brother's name is TJ Holton.
TJ Holton. TJ Holton, happy birthday. You're 30. Stop counting.
We
That's my
like
advice
to
to you.
yeah we just like to make fun of him and call him old, and he's all about it. So
yeah, those kind of things don't hurt people at all.
And he calls himself old too. So
no, I know that's actually that's what I do with the young guys that I work with. I constantly beat them to the punch. I'm like, I will be better at making fun of me for being old.
My God, I call myself old, and I'm 27 years old. I feel old.
Shut up! Stop it, Jake. Stop it. All right,
that's funny.
All right, so Broken Anchor. Check out his Premier League preview. Everybody, I'm sure you can check his Twitter. He'll show. I'm sure he'll be putting that up there. And also, happy birthday, TJ Holton. Stop counting now. 30 is too high. Okay. So for everything else, if you've been digging what you're hearing or seeing, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel and or podcast. Please check out the Toffee Blues website where there's all kinds of content from smart Evertonians who have smart Everton things to say. And also, they also put up the content on YouTube and the podcast. They're good guys just like y'all, just like everybody else who's watching this. They're good folk. So check it out. Follow the Toffee Blues on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And as a personal thing, please keep an eye out. At some point, I'm going to have a movie. or two. So
Yes.
check it out. Through the Lines is what it's called at the moment, but we may have to make it 2 different movies. So different conversation on that. Anyway, much love to everybody. Jake, thanks so much for coming on. It's good to talk to you, buddy. I'm glad you had a blast in Orlando.
Yeah. That was a neat little intersection of stories there. So that was really cool. So
Yes. Anyway, thanks so much to everybody else out there. Much love to you. You know what? 3 points can heal a lot of wounds.
yes, it
Just
can.
saying.
Yes,
So-
it can.
Let's do it. Delph hat trick incoming. All right, everybody. Much love to you. Take
See you
care.
guys.
Bye.